Well, I'm never going to make a lighting engineer. But anyway, I've got an important announcement for you. And I've been thinking about my channel. And you know, early on this year, I quit. I'm not going to do any more. It must be important. There's a car going by. Because I said to myself, unless I find a silver coin on this hunt, I'm not going to do these videos anymore. And then I posted a video saying I quit. And then the next day, I found a silver denarius of Augustus. So I thought, well, you know, you can't really get a stronger omen than that. So I started again. And I've been having fun because rather than do one a week, I've been doing one when things crop up. And it means that basically I've been doing one every 2 weeks. Now, I've been thinking about that. And I feel that videos where you go around the field and I find a spindle whorl and I find a lead weight and I find a shotgun cartridge, that's kind of been done to death. So rather than do that anymore, I want to change the format a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to concentrate on the things that I find and the history behind them. And so a little bit of treasure hunting, more history on what I find, and the story behind them. So in this video, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a history story. Now, when I do treasure hunting, and when I show artifacts and I show the history behind them and the stories behind them, that'll be a Saturday. Now, what I've also noticed is that a lot of my viewers really just love me going on adventures. And I know that lots of my fans, lots of my subscribers, really enjoy the treasure hunting side of things, and they don't want to go on adventures with me. So what I've decided to do is on Wednesday, I will do adventures and funny little videos that I know a certain part of my audience will love. And on Saturdays, it will be the treasure hunting stuff. If I do something like this video, like an announcement or a story that's not to do with treasure hunting, but maybe history, or maybe not, maybe about a place I'm visiting, then it'll be a Wednesday. If it's a treasure hunting connected thing, it will be a Saturday. When I've got something to show, which I'm aiming for every 2 weeks for treasure hunting, and when I've got something to show that's not treasure hunting, it will be on a Wednesday. So if you see something on a Wednesday, you'll know it's not a treasure hunting video. And that's my plan. So this video is about history and mushrooms, because I've got a mushroom channel, and I might just collect all my mushroom videos up and switch them out of my mushroom channel into this channel, and you'll be able to see them on a Wednesday as a re-edit and a combination. Maybe when I do some music, I'll put some music up, but it'll be a Wednesday. So anyway, this is a history and mushroom video all in one, and this is a Wednesday. Well, when I release it anyway. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe and like, and here comes the rest of the video. Mushrooms are delicious, and most people really enjoy them. But mushrooms can also be lethal, and there are many poisonous mushrooms out there. Now, the really deadly ones are from the Amanita family, and that family of mushrooms has many mushrooms that will kill you stone dead, particularly from liver failure. And every year, people die from eating them. So, for example, some Syrian refugees a few years ago, when they came from Syria, they picked mushrooms called death cabs and ate them and died. A large number, and many had to have liver transplants. And the reason they ate these lethal mushrooms was because in Syria they had a mushroom from that family called the shaggy amanita, which is edible, and they mistook the lethal death cabs for being the same mushroom. There are very few amanitas that are edible. If I see them in the field, even if I know they're one of the very rare non-lethal ones, I won't pick and eat them. And a blusher is an example of that. And I know a forest with many blushes in, and I would never pick a blusher, and I would never eat a blusher, because of one small mistake, and you're a goner. Back in ancient times, there was an emperor called Claudius. Most of you probably know of Claudius. He invaded Great Britain, for starters. He was an accidental emperor, because when Caligula was murdered, he was discovered in the royal palace, hiding behind a curtain, and was proclaimed by the Praetorian Guard as the emperor, and as such became the emperor. And he had a very bad stutter, and he had a limp, and his family thought he was a complete idiot, but he wasn't. I will just read from Suetonius's
Life of the Caesars what people thought of Claudius before he became emperor. And this is from the 12 Caesars. His mother, Antonia, often called him a monster of a man, not finished but nearly begun by Dame Nature. And if she accused anyone of stupidness, she used to say that he was a bigger fool than her son Claudius. His grandmother Augusta always treated him with the utmost contempt, very rarely speaking to him, and when she admonished him, she did so in short, harsh letters and through messengers. When his sister Livia heard that he would one day be emperor, she openly and loudly prayed that the Roman people might be spared so cruel and undeserving a fortune. That's pretty harsh, isn't it? From your own family. Claudius loved mushrooms, and his favourite mushroom was the Caesar's mushroom. And a Caesar's mushroom is an Amanita, one of the few others you can actually eat. And it is delicious. But if I found one, I would never pick it and eat it, because it looks, well, it is an Amanita. And it's orange, but then the fly agaric is red. And it doesn't have little dots on the top, which the Amanita fly agaric does. But they wash off. But if I saw them in a market in Italy, I would eat them. And here they are. Caesar's mushrooms, Amanitas, from the same family as the death cap, Amanita phalloides. Now, if you eat this one, apart from feeling a little bit ill to begin with, you'll be fine for a couple of days, and then your liver will stop and you'll die. There's no cure, apart from a liver transplant. But the Caesar's mushroom, well, that's a different thing entirely. It is a wonderful mushroom. You can have it in a salad. Now, there's a video later of me preparing Caesar's mushrooms and eating them, and you'll see that right after this piece. Now, back to Claudius. Now, Claudius loved his mushrooms, and in the typical Roman style, everybody was trying to bump him off to replace him with one person or another. People tried to stab him in the street, and people broke into the palace and tried to stab him in his bed. And in the end, they put Death Cab in his Caesar's mushrooms. And that is what got him, because they poisoned him with Amanita phalloides. Took the orange one for the green one, covered it with a bit of sauce, and that was his lot for Claudius. That's my historical story of Amanitas and the Amanita Caesar's mushroom. Now for the video of actually eating it.
Amanita mushrooms are a family of mushrooms that are totally, completely lethal. Death cap, destroying angel, panther cap. If you eat them, you die. Or you have to have a liver transplant, and you might die anyway. Amanita mushrooms, to me, are pretty terrifying. Now, there are two Amanitas you can eat. One is the blusher. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot barge pole. If you slice it, it goes a little pink inside. Oh yeah, I'm going to risk my life on that basis. So today my darling wife has bought some Amanitas. And these are Caesar's mushrooms. And you know they're Caesar's mushrooms because they're golden. And the difference between life and death is the colour of this mushroom, because for all intents and purposes, this is what a death cap looks like before it breaks out. So that could be a baby death cap. But it's got a golden top. And I'll tell you, before I'm eating this, I'm slicing it down the middle to make sure it's gold on the inside. So, as you would imagine, being the famous mushroom of Caesar's, this mushroom is about €1, £1 per gram. And I've just tried a little one, and it is gorgeous. So, this is what we're going to eat now, and let's experience it together. So here you have a punnet of Caesar's mushrooms, the only good brother of a family of serial killers. We have a mushroom that I would be incredibly scared to pick and eat, because that is the shape and form of an Amanita, death cap, destroying angel, panther cap, which will kill you pretty much stone dead. Not immediately, about 3 days after you eat them. And they come out of an egg like this. Now, but when they're orange, it could mean they're Caesar's mushrooms, which are pretty much the most sought after of all mushrooms, and you're incredibly unlikely to find it for sale. And the only difference between a death cap and one of these, I suppose, is flavour, and the fact that the mushroom tops are this golden colour. So when you find a little egg popping out of the ground like this, you'd say, oh, that's a death cap. But actually, the golden would suggest that it's a Caesar's mushroom, but I would absolutely, definitely not pick one of these and eat it. But obviously, professional mushroom hunters have found these, and they have all the signs that you need to be sure that they're Caesar's mushrooms. But I wouldn't actually pick one in the field. So let's actually look inside. So let's cut one up. Now, if that was a death cap, this would all be white. But that golden colour is what you're looking for. Well, to be honest with you, I wouldn't look for it. I wouldn't look for this mushroom. I wouldn't pick it. But I will eat it if it's in a shop or in a market stall. And it has this golden shape. Now this egg shape, if you cut a mushroom, you see this, don't eat it. Unless it's this golden colour. You see they probably peeled this away just to make sure it is actually a Caesar's mushroom. And when we actually bought these a couple of days ago, they're a lot more golden, a lot more yellow, a lot more orangey than they are now as they've aged. So let's do the same thing with this big one. Again, you can see this golden top. And you can see it much better with this one. So that is a Caesar mushroom. And the way it's often prepared is in a salad, just slices of this in a little vinaigrette. And I believe that's what we're going to be having later. So this mushroom is actually $1 a gram. It's very, very expensive. So like fugu, you spend a lot of money to take your life in your hands. But I must say I've had one in a salad and it is very, very, very good. And it doesn't kill you. But that's how they killed the Emperor Claudius. One of the reasons it's called the Caesar's mushroom. They slipped a death cap in amongst his Caesar's mushrooms and killed him. The Romans were like that. They like to kill their emperors. So these are very serious mushrooms, Caesar's mushrooms. Not only expensive, really, you know, as I said, you wouldn't want to be picking them unless you were an absolute, complete, utter and total expert.
So now we're gonna prepare a very special mushroom, and Jill Bill will tell you more about them.
Yes, these are Amanitas. And Amanitas come out of eggs, and if you eat them, you die. And that's pretty much the golden rule. But the most fabulous of all mushrooms, in fact the most expensive of all mushrooms outside of truffles, which are kind of not really your standard mushroom that comes out of the ground and has a cap on the top, is the Caesar's mushroom. Now if I found these in the wild, I would never pick them. But if I saw them in the wild, I might identify them because they are golden. And this is one that's out of its shell. But they come up in eggs. And this is a perfect example. They come up just like any other Amanita will come up. But they've got this golden top. And that's the only difference between life and death. But anyway, these were in a market in Monaco. So we're putting our trust in the mushroom hunters of Italy who do know their mushrooms. And I bet you can't even get them outside of Italy or the borders of Italy and France because nobody will take on the risk of killing their customer. And, you know, one of these, if it's a death cap or a panther cap or a destroying angel or a number of other Amanitas, will kill you stone dead. 2 or 3 days, liver failure. But we're going to cook them. Or we're not going to cook them.
We're gonna slice them, and the other recipe will be cook them, yes.
So, Here you go, very, very unique. These babies are $1 a gram, to put it another way, $30 an ounce. So, very expensive. Just like fugu, if you want to take your life in your hands, you got to spend big bucks. And I've already had these as a salad, and I can tell you, they're fabulous. But, very special mushroom. I would not, even if I knew they were Caesar's mushrooms in the field, I would not pick these. I would not eat them. I would only trust an expert, which I'm hoping the guys that sell this in the markets are. And I kind of do know that these are Caesar's mushrooms. But I don't think I trust myself to make that decision on my own. So what we're going to do here is we're going to cut this one in half and show everybody the inside.
But before we do that, I will do this. I'll try it. Hoop, 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 hoop.
Are you juggling with death?
Oh, I didn't mean that. Anyway, let's cut it. So I'm cutting it in half, just to show you how does it look inside, and it's beautifully yellow.
So this golden colour, that golden colour is the distinguisher. It's not really got much of a mushroomy smell.
No, it has a little bit of this underground mushroom, because it was underground, I guess, as an egg, like they popping up as an egg, I guess.
Yeah. This actually has a veil over the top, and that's how you know you're dealing with the Amanita. And it will have a little ruff around the top and comes out of an egg.
Which is here.
Yes, this is a good example of how it comes out. And there you have the veil. But if that was white, that would be a death cap. And it isn't called death cap for nothing. But this is a Caesar's mushroom, because this is the favourite mushroom of the Roman Caesars.
And us.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Just about.
It's like fugu. You feel like that when you're eating it, but it is a very delicious mushroom.
Just to make a notice, fugu is a puffish, Japanese puffish.
Pufferfish, blowfish,
Blowfish, that's true.
a wonderful, wonderful fish to eat, prepared by Japanese chefs. So anyway, show me your magic.
So we need to slice it really, really thin. So I will try as much as I can. The truffle or chocolate slicer would be great, but we don't have it right now here. Nice yellow color.
Yes, golden. And they're called ovoli in Italy, eggs.
And apparently this neck piece of this mushroom is not really good, so I remove it. That's what the chef said.
Okay.
Just notice that I'm dressed as a mushroom. I have a yellow shirt.
As a Caesar's mushroom.
Green outside, yellow inside. Yeah, I think that's will be more than enough for a salad. This one we'll keep for the next recipe.
Now I did eat these a couple of days ago. Well, actually about 3 or 4 days ago, and I'm still here, so we're in good shape. So there you are, as a cross section. They're the gills. And that's the top of the cap, and that's the veil. And here is a plate of sliced Caesar's mushrooms.
And now what we need is rucola.
Rocket.
Rocket salad.
Parma ham?
Yeah.
Prosciutto or Serrano ham and rocket, a bag of rocket.
So a little bit of rocket from the bag, a little bit of ham from the other bag, mushroom and
Olive oil
yeah,
and salt
and
from the Himalayas and pepper.
yeah, maybe not this one. I don't know, spicy pepper on it, mushrooms.
No, I think that'd be excellent. Have you got any other pepper?
I might find. For this reason, very expensive mushroom special dish I will find.
Special reserve of pepper. Secret pepper. So here's the secret reserve of pepper from the Himalayas. Himalayas? No.
No, but whatever, India, where the black pepper is?
Spice Islands.
Spice Islands. We start from rucola. Position the rucola in the middle of the plate. We'll take a little bit of Parma ham. In this way it's a Serrano ham. Do you like Parmesan?
I love it. I love Parma ham, Serrano ham, smoked ham, any old ham. How can you not love bacon? There you go. That's more like it.
Here we are. And we put on the top of it these beautiful mushrooms. Here we are. Tuk, tuk, tuk.
You know, it's complicated.
It's a very complicated recipe. Actually, Italian recipes are pretty easy to do.
Simple.
Simple. The best things are always simple.
Now what?
Now, salt and pepper.
So I'll let you apply the salt and pepper. That's the salt.
I would probably first put some olive oil, so the olive oil will catch the salt and will keep it with the mushrooms, I would say.
Okay.
So just a splash of olive oil.
They all say drizzle, don't they? Drizzle olive oil, but that's a bit more than drizzle. That's more like a small shower. A downpour of olive oil. Of course, the Italians eat their olive oil with bread, and they just have a little dish of olive oil and they put bread in it and soak it up and eat it. A very nice, very simple way of eating your bread with a little bit of flavour.
And apparently very healthy.
So let's have a close-up of this salad.
That's let's not put this amount.
So, from disaster to inspiration, that much. A pinch of pepper.
Yeah.
Which is why you always pour it into your hand, not straight out of the container, because that is going to happen to you time after time.
Ah, pepper smells great. Now you have to try that.
Do I? Oh, we're not going to mix it up or anything. Okay, fine.
No, that's all. Everything's
I think
mixed.
we need to fork it.
Behind me.
I already know what this tastes like. It tastes wonderful. Of course, the golden rule of soft crunchy thing into tough hard thing, rather than the other way around, applies when forking it. Otherwise it just doesn't work. Anyway, let's give this a go. No, none of this is for you. It's all for me. Still the divine mushroom.
Don't watch.
I tell you, these are absolutely wonderfully delicious mushrooms. I've got a very strong bite. A slight aniseed flavour. And I would say they also are doing what truffles do, which is enhance the other flavours. The flavours of the salt and the pepper and the ham seem much louder with these in the mix. So there's no ham here. But it feels like I can taste the ham as if even just by touching it it's absorbed some of that flavour. Impressive. It is an incredibly delicious mushroom. And I can see why it was the Caesar's favourite. I would say it's got a very, very intangible flavour. It's not like, very powerful, but when you're tasting it, you're going, wow, this is amazing. So it's a very subtle taste. I'm just a little buzzy. You see, truffles do that. It's like there's a special secret flavour in the actual food itself. That happens with fugu. Well, fugu's got a neurotoxin in it, so obviously it's going up different nerve paths into your brain, which is why your brain goes, whoa, what's that? This doesn't have anything like that. Truffles does. Truffle has got the equivalent of MSG in it, very similar chemical, a glutamide, which makes your brain go, wow, that's amazing. And it's not by accident, because the truffle is trying to get itself eaten by animals so that its spores can be spread around. What this mushroom is doing, I don't know, but it's got that special kick. And I get a burn on my tongue from this, a little fizzing on my tongue. I did last time. I thought, that's strange, a bit worrying considering, but it was very, very delicious. And I believe the poisonous ones, if you're unlucky enough to eat them, don't have much of a flavour. Exceptional. As you see, there's nothing to this dish. A bit of salt, a bit of pepper, almost quite a lot of pepper, a bit of oil, a bit of ham. But those mushrooms are absolutely outstanding. Now what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to just eat one on its own and see if it's just as amazing. It's like a very beautiful mushroom. So it's like a field mushroom, but a very, very, very delicious one. A 1 in 100 delicious normal field mushroom. And your palate is demanding more. It's very, very, very delicious. So I'd say this is probably the most delicious mushroom I've ever eaten. It's not particularly strong flavoured, but it has, maybe it's psychological, maybe because you know it's the nice brother of all these serial killers. Maybe you're just, really, really, really switched on and in the moment to eat it.
I would say, from my point of view, mushroom is great, but the combination with the salad and ham, salt, pepper, olive oil is giving a very nice kind of, like a cake with the layers. Different tastes mixed together in a very good proportions. Rucola is great for this mushroom.
There's definitely a flavour enhancement coming from this mushroom. Because the rocket, which is bitter, I like bitter, I'm old guy who likes bitter flavours, seems enhanced, frankly. And the salt is very, buzzy, and the pepper is very aromatic. And the ham, well, the ham is great. But it does seem a little bit more than you'd expect. And mushrooms do have that impact on food, or certainly truffles do. That piece of ham that I just had was absolutely spot on. I've got to say, I do think that the Caesar's mushroom is a flavour enhancer and that it boosts the flavour of other things. That's my conclusion, which is really rather wonderful. But at $100 for 3 ounces, that's sad that you have to spend so much, but unavoidable, because these are, for a number of reasons, very rare mushrooms.
Well, we never saw them in France ever for sale.
Never seen them anywhere. Italians are really the mushroom experts, that's for sure. That's where the truffles come from.
And porcinis. When you're in Piedmont or Liguria, they sell like big packages of the huge porcini, dry ceps. They're huge and they're not so much expensive, so it's just probably the mushroom area.
Certainly is mushroom central.
Well, next is a cappuccino.
So, in another video, we're making cep cappuccino soup. So, check out the links below and give it a look. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe and like, and hopefully we'll be back. We're relatively sure. And thank you for watching our little video about the Caesar's mushroom.